Messi. Oh, brilliant skill from Lionel Messi. Surging forward with real menace here. Brilliant from Messi. Oh, what a goal that is!
Yes, good evening. Sava here from Football Heritage TV. What a day it has been. We were all coming on here ready with our mud packs. We were all coming here with our sorry letters to all the Arsenal fans. We were all here ready to say how bad we were and how rubbish Postecoglou is and how Sonny shouldn't be in the team and how James Maddison should write a letter to Odegaard to ask him to teach him how to play football. But we're not. We're here. We're very happy. And as Atletico Madrid just go 1-0 up in the Madrid derby, Kate, just a girl who loves Spurs. How are you?
I'm good. I'm happy and feeling very smug, actually, after all the grief we've had over the last week from very, very disrespectful, embarrassingly cringe and over-enthusiastic and overconfident gooners who said we were going to get absolutely slaughtered today. And now they're all backtracking and giving excuses like, but Trossard was injured and Martinelli was injured and ifs, buts and monkey nuts, you know, that's it.
Absolutely. Good. Absolutely. And Ben from Tottenham on tour. Big up to you, my man. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. I'm chill. I've got my frying pan ready, even though I'm supposed to be fasting, even though I don't fast. But we're going to cook some gooners anyway. It's going to be absolutely wonderful. So stay fast for everyone that's doing it. Not that any of you should be here. You should all be at shul, but oh well. Let's cook some gooners. It's going to be great.
And it's the YouTube show slayer. It's Perchy. Stop streams dead in their tracks. Oh, here man. He is. Here he is. I'm here. And for anyone who doesn't know what happened earlier, we were in the middle of a stream, 1,100 people in the chat. And Perchy went to leave the studio and instead typed end stream. That was fun, wasn't it, Perchy? How are you, mate?
I'm good. Listen, it was a great. It wasn't one of my finest hours. I made a bit of a C-up. C-up. We will not demonetize. We will not demonetize this one either. No, but listen. Yeah, no. Apart from that, my friend. I mean, I think we've got a reason to be smug today. Everyone, we were getting told. Everyone was telling us that we had no chance. I thought we gave a good account of ourselves today, didn't we?
Yeah, look, we did indeed. Look, we're going to get into it. We're going to have a look at some of the match stats. We're going to talk about the team lineups and everything, and then we can get into the whole conversation about the Arsenal fans and what's happened this week. What I will say is this before we start is, first of all, for anyone that all I'm seeing now is people who are predicting 5-1, 5-2, 4-0. Their comeback now is, oh, it's embarrassing. You lot are celebrating a point. Hang on. 5 hours ago, we were told that we were getting battered 4-0, 5-0. Surely we should be celebrating a point, but we're not celebrating the point. What we're celebrating is the fact that we've gone to a top team away from home, got a point, which is a great result. And yeah, we'll get there, Ben. It's all right. I know you're anxious. Don't worry. We'll get there, my mate. Right. And all of this after being told we have no chance. So, guys, I'm going to bring this up first and foremost. I'm going to show you. So this is, I mean, I could choose one of many apps. And by the way, everyone in the chat, please like, please subscribe. If you haven't already, smash the subscribe button. It is pinned. It is linked. I'm sure Ben will do that for me as we go along as well. But please do pin that. Do smash the subscribe button as well as liking. Currently only at 53 likes, which is a little bit tight, I would say. But here we go. If we present the screen here, I've chosen Sky Sports just because, I mean, I could choose any of them, right? So if we look here, as we all know, 2-2, Arsenal 2, Tottenham 2, a Christian Romero own goal on 26 minutes, followed by a Sonny goal within the 6-yard box. He's making a habit of getting into that 6-yard box and poaching. And also a goal from Bukayo Saka from a controversial penalty, which we will get into a little bit later. And then Sonny, straight from the replay for some fine work from Maddison and a lovely composed finish from Son. Now, if we scroll down, what we can start to see is some stats here, the ones that matter. Now, for a team that we're going to get played off the park, for a team that we're going to get battered, for a team that if you go toe-to-toe with Arsenal, wouldn't survive, we've had more possession and the same amount of shots on goal, a better passing succession rate, more clear-cut chances in the game. When we look at this, Kate, let me start with you. When you look at all of that, that points to a very successful day in the office, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I think the main thing it points to is that despite us being 6 places below them last season, there was no split in the two of us today. I mean, I actually streamed straight after with Mia, and we both felt a little bit gutted that we didn't get the whole 3 points. You know, it got to that stage where we thought we was going to nick it. So the difference in our performance from last year to this year is off the charts, just completely off the charts. And what Ange's managed to do in 6 games is nothing short of an absolute miracle. So all these people that have been saying, you know, well, you haven't played anyone decent yet, can now shut up, because we have.
And we've wait another week because we're playing Liverpool next week.
Yeah, very good, Ben. Because we matched them like pound for pound. And as I say, in the end, I think we could have took all 3 points, but a point at the Emirates is never a bad point ever. So there we go.
Yeah, I mean, Ben, I'll come to you. I mean, some of those stats, and I think Kate's right. Towards the end, you're thinking, can we nick this? But we'd be happy with a point for the game. But more possession at their ground, more clear-cut chances, the same number of shots, more passes completed. I mean, that's a good day at the office, isn't it?
We deserve to win the game today, I believe. The reason they got a draw is because they've got a bogus VAR decision against Romero for that penalty, and they should have been down to 10 men after Nketiah tried to assault Vicario 2 feet off the ground, above the neck. They're lucky we didn't win. If Maddis hadn't got that injury and played a bit longer, we would have won today. So they should be shutting up a bit. I believe we deserve to win the game. I'm happy with a draw. But I think there is a lot of positives to this team. A young team under a new manager, a new philosophy. The show that they can do that, show a lot of steel, is absolutely brilliant. And I'm very happy for the boys. They really deserved all the plaudits today, and they were excellent.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Perchy, I don't want to say I was a bit like Nostradamus, but I've said 2 all week. But on a serious note, look, that game, I thought they were the better team for the first 25 minutes, half an hour. I don't think we could probably get away from that. But again, we grew into yet another game, and our players, again, after a nervous start, started to look like the real deal, didn't they?
No, I absolutely agree. I thought the first half an hour, 40 minutes, you could argue, Arsenal were the better team. I think they deserved to be 1-0 up. I think we were lucky that at the point it was at 1-0, but we started to grow. I think you're right in that. We grew into the game, and then I felt by the end of it, I felt we wanted to carry on. We didn't want half time to come because we equalised, and we could have easily gone 2-1 up. It was one of those, right? We started playing good football.
Yeah.
Second half, we came out the much better team, high energy, and we played some very, very good football. And then, as you said, the penalty, I'm sorry, absolute disgrace. I know we're going to go into it a bit later, but I'll have a word to say on all that, though. And then, listen, what mentality? We talk about mentality all the time. We use the word mentality. What mentality that is to, after going 2-1 down, maybe anyone could have all felt, do you know what? Heads down. Last season, heads would have dropped. We've gone 2-1 down. We've gone behind. No, what did we do? Press from the front. And you could argue Jorginho was terribly at fault for it, but it wasn't it was all because of Maddison's pressing. Doesn't press, we don't. And I thought Maddison for both goals was absolutely incredible today.
Yeah, I mean, guys, let's talk about the team news. So Solomon came out, Brennan Johnson went in. I'll be honest, I wasn't a fan. I wasn't upset with the replacement. I was upset that he played on the left. And I don't know what you all thought. I felt that he looked very much uncomfortable when flying down that left wing because everything was on his right foot, and I just didn't feel that it looked quite natural to him. But he had some moments in the game, didn't he? He had some moments where he certainly could have scored, and his pace looked dangerous.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll jump in first because I'm the lady. Like you say, I think it would have been better on the other side, but what a game to chuck him in for his debut performance. I mean, I was actually really shocked that he played. I started him. I guess he'd get some minutes, but I was really shocked to see that he started him. But I thought he looked promising. You know, he's a young kid. It was a massive game for him to come and make his debut. And I thought there were some moments where he looks really exciting. And I think if he was on the other side as a replacement from Kulu, he offers something completely different. He's so quick. He's nippy the way he crosses into the box. So, but yeah, generally, I think it was a good debut, and I'm quite excited about him, I have to say.
Yeah,
I've got to disagree with Kate. I thought he should have tracked back a lot. He left Udogie completely and utterly exposed in that first half. Every time, if you look at the way the two wings, every time they went down the left wing, Kulusevski was helping out with Pedro Porro. But every time they went forward with Ben White and with Saka, it was 2-on-1 the entire time. And it was very, very fortunate that Udogie didn't get sent off. But Udogie was excellent in that. In that second half, he had both of them in his pocket. But he does need to track back. When you've got pace flying down at you, you've really got to track back with him. And he's got the pace to burn, but he should be tracking in that scenario.
Yeah, I mean, Perchy, before I give my opinion on Brennan Johnson's performance, what did you make of the substitution with him coming in? And were you surprised it wasn't him on the right? It feels like Kulu never gets moved. Everyone else gets moved. Kulu never gets moved, but for me, he's always the weak link. But I mean, obviously, I don't want to go down the negative path. But are you surprised he played on the left?
I'm not. But I agree to the extent of I would have been intrigued if he'd swapped him. I thought, do you know what? Fine, I get it that you want one of these lads to invert, but do you know what? Swap them about and change it up a little bit. I thought, see how it goes. I thought it would be nice to see Kulu out on that on the left, and then have Johnson on the right and just change it up a little bit. Make these Arsenal fullbacks think about something a little bit different. Let's not make it easy. I think Kulu made Zinchenko's day for the bulk of it relatively comfortable, right? I don't think Zinchenko lost a lot of sleep thinking that he was defending against Kulusevski, right? I thought he made it. But if you swapped him, you'd have gone, do you know what? Make him think about something a bit different. That would be the only bit of critical thinking I would have put into that.
Yeah. I mean, look, before we move on to the actual in game, what I would say for me with Brennan Johnson, I felt that he looked very uncomfortable on the left. I just felt like it didn't look like his natural game. When he was running with the ball, you could see he was so right-footed. Like there was that time when he was running down the wing and he sort of ran it out because he wasn't quite balanced. I would have liked to have seen him and Kulu swap. But listen, it is what it is. Listen, we don't have to go round in order, by the way. We can just have a general chat. Yeah. For me, listen, the goal was well-deserved. I can't lie. The Arsenal goal was coming. It was well-deserved. The way it went in was very fortunate. I mean, Arsenal fans would go, oh, Saka. I thought it was a really lucky goal. I don't know if there was too much Romero could have done about it. I thought like his body shape, maybe he could have been facing away from goal a bit more. But look, at the end of the day, these things happen. And they were worth their money, weren't they? In that from that first goal.
Yeah, they deserved it. I thought Romero shouldn't have swung at it. I think it was a bit, as I said in the commentary, it was a bit rash. He probably could have done better there. I don't even think it was going in at that point. It might have. You never know. But to wildly swing it, it was a was a bad decision, but they deserved the goal. They were the better team at the time. They showed they were very aggressive on the first half. But we were. I don't want to say we were nervous, but we didn't have control of the ball at all. But once we got going, I think that showed that the proof was in the pudding. But we got there. But it's good. We went up against one of the top attacking sides in the Premier League, and we only conceded one goal. So we showed a lot of defensive steel in that first half, and onwards and upwards.
Yeah, listen, Kate, I'll come to you in 1 second. Just so anyone that cares, Real Madrid are losing 2-0 in 17 minutes against Atletico. Just in case anyone cares about the Spanish league, Griezmann has just scored. Kate, anything we could have done to stop the goal? To Ben's point earlier, in that goal, what I did notice in the build-up was when Saka cut in past Udogie, Brennan Johnson was running back, but not with any real conviction to defend. He just sort of ran back and ran past the player. Is there anything we could have done to stop that first goal?
Well, I saw what Jim said as well. On Sky Sports, they said that Brennan Johnson said that he was told not to track back. I don't know whether that's true or what, but I think, do you know what? I think we had a really nervy start. I don't think we were settled for for most of the first half. So
yeah,
I think we were scared to play our game. Do you know what I mean? I don't know whether they didn't have the pressure of playing in North London derbies before, but it just didn't feel like we were settled and we were giving them a bit too much respect. So for me, I said to Jim, if Romero hadn't put his leg out and it had gone in, we'd have all been like, well, why didn't he try and stop it? He put his leg out and it deflected in. It's just one of those things that happen. But yeah, there's probably things we could have done to stop the goal, but they had all the momentum to begin with. I could see it coming a mile away. So I had a feeling they'd score first. What worried me is whether we'd be able to come back into the game. But obviously we did.
Well, I mean, Perchy, we did. I mean, it took us a while we said it during the watch along that at some point we've got to get our foot on the ball and start conducting play. When we did, I almost felt like Arsenal kind of ran out of steam a little bit.
Yeah,
I feel like Arsenal, for as much as everyone talks about them being this high possession, high energy team, I agree with the high energy. The possession bit, I felt it was more high energy than it was actually possession, if that makes sense. They tried to do everything quickly. When they ran out of ideas, we started to get a foothold. We started to create a couple of chances just before the goal came, didn't we?
Yeah, no, I agree. I thought I thought when we started playing our football, playing our game, playing the Ange system, and that kind of nerve started dropping. I felt we were very nervous early, and I think we mentioned it here, guys have mentioned it. But once that dropped, I saw a collection of players went, do you know what? Let's get at them. And you're right. I thought we created some really good opportunities. I think Brennan Johnson probably should have scored, right? I mean, that chance against David Raya, I mean, he doesn't hit it hard enough. He hits it hard enough. It goes in the back of the net. He goes and scores his debut. And at that point, it's 1-1 earlier than when we've actually equalised. But listen, I agree. I think we are showing some really, really good signs. And listen, we've gone to one of those grounds, a ground that we notoriously roll over for. And listen, we turned up there. Listen, big up to the boys. I think they worked their absolute backsides off. And listen, and as guys said, we should have won today. On another day, we win that game. And listen, if it wasn't for a very good David Raya save at the end of the game, we do go and win that game 3-2 right at the end.
Yeah, I mean, look, Ben, football is made of fine margins, isn't it? It's always on a knife edge. You had the moment where, Maddison had the worst moment of the game from his perspective, which was the giving the ball away in our own penalty area, and Jesus blazed over the bar, and you thanked the stars that it wasn't Haaland or Kane or anyone like that. And then a few moments later, his footwork to get past Saka, he absolutely muscled him off the ball, sold him a new one, went to the byline, pulled it back, and Sonny's making a knack of that now. And I thought the two linked up well. I think we're going to see that a lot this season, aren't we? Sonny and Maddison linking up.
Maddison, give him a 50-year contract. I absolutely love the geezer. I think he is absolutely sublime, top shelf, absolutely cream of the crop footballer. Realistically, he shouldn't be playing for Tottenham. He's that good. Every single, apart from that one mistake, which players make mistakes in football games. It's when you're a creator, you're bound to lose the ball at some points. But
of course,
everything he did was class. Great on the ball, that glided over the turf. He gave them an absolute hammering. Absolutely brilliant. Both goals. Worked his socks off, which a lot of people kept on telling us that Maddison ghost games.
Right. Yeah. He doesn't work hard, does he? He doesn't track back.
And he was even when I thought I was like when he got injured and he was on the floor for a bit, I was very, very worried. He came back on and he ran even harder. So it was absolutely marvellous from Maddison all over the pitch today. And so happy we've got in, and he's excellent. Absolutely excellent.
Absolutely. Welcome, Rez. How are you, sir?
Good. Thank you very much. I just come to roast some Arsenal fans if there are any around.
we will get into, we're just going through the goals of the game, then we will get into the Arsenal thing. What I have noticed is all week, every stream I've done, for anyone who's been in all my streams will know I've just been literally taken over this week by Arsenal fans in the chat. You guys are rubbish. We're going to batter you. I'm not seeing too many of them right now in the chat. To be fair,
Shocking.
Saka for Ballon d'Or, to be fair, is in the chat and has said fair play and all that kind of stuff. But before we get there, guys, listen, the penalty, we've got to discuss the penalty. We went in at half time. I almost didn't want the half to end because we were starting to boss the game. We came out second half, and I thought we were doing really well. And then it's one of these penalties where you look at and go, what on earth is the defender meant to do? He's a yard away. He's there. His arm is being dragged, so I'm not sure if you can see it on my camera, away from play into his body. I'll come to you, Rez. I'll start with you on this. What world are we in where every time now it hits somebody's hand, there's a penalty? And the second point of this is, if it was such a clear and obvious error, why did VAR take so long to look at it, then have to send the ref over to the monitor?
Well, that's just it. There's two things at play here. Thanks, Tony. There's two things at play here. It's both of those things. It's the fact of the idea that if it touches the hand, you've got to give it. If it was that, if they were consistent, then at least you can say, right, they're applying the erroneous principle consistently. However, because of the fact that, Ange himself said it in his post-match, he said he saw a handball the week before, not given. So that's one aspect. There's actually a couple more than two. The other one is the whole thing about VAR and the fact that I have no issue with video replays being used. However, the way they're used right now is that it's just done to cover referees' failings. Referees are poor in this country. They are, in fact, I'm going to go further. They are atrociously bad in this country. We have the worst refs in the world, bar none. You know, there are football matches probably happening in the depths of the Amazon rainforest, right? Where they're playing on, mud, okay? And the referee is probably some hippo that's come out of the Amazon River and has just happened to be watching, who could do a better job than Rob Jones did today. Yeah. And he is an exemplar of how bad our referees are. But VAR is being used to cover them. It's not being used to make the game any better, okay? Because there are other ways of implementing it, yeah? And then on top of everything else, it's this idea that, what are you supposed to do? It was like that one that Phil Banks gave to when we were playing Newcastle a couple of seasons ago, where Dyer had his hand behind his back.
Yeah.
And it hit him, and they gave a penalty. He's like, what's he supposed to do? Grow eyes in the back of his head to know that the ball is coming and move his hand out of the way? I mean, come on. It was ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous.
It is. I mean,
it didn't challenge the Nketiah tackle on Vicario, which
well,
was
we'll come to the Vicario one. Can I just ask everyone, before I get everyone else's opinion on that handball? This might be a little bit biased. I'll try not to be, but wasn't there a massive shove on James Maddison right before the ball hit the hand of Romero? But when they sent the ref to watch the screen, if you notice, that bit wasn't played. They literally asked him to focus on the handball. What do you make of that?
If we talk about the push, you just got. I'll be honest. I don't think that's a foul. No, I think you see a lot of pushing and shoving in the box. The bit for me is the handball given. Basically, what the referees today have now basically have implied the rules are: if a ball hits a hand, it's a penalty. Fine. I expect every manager now in the dressing room going, do you know what? If you can't get a shot on goal, aim at a hand, aim at an arm, because you'll get a penalty for it. That isn't the rule. Basically, they've considered that as a deliberate handball. What? And his hand's in an unnatural position. Do these people not play football? He's going down to try and block a ball with his body. He can't stand like this. You have to balance yourself. Like, don't they understand the laws of gravity? Like,
most importantly,
it's madness.
Most importantly, Perch, he thought the ball was going to his right-hand side, but then it hit.
Of course,
James
it takes
Maddison,
a huge deflection,
like a massive deflection to hit into his left hand. So there's literally nothing he could have done. He wasn't going. He was balancing on his left-hand side, so because he was going for a ball on the right.
Absolutely, and the key here is what I said is that, you know, if that's going to be the rule, then at the very least you need to apply it consistently.
I agree.
It has to be, if that's the rule, right? Because then you debate the validity of the rule, right? And you don't debate whether or not referees are so inadequate as human beings that they are so desperate to insert themselves into a sport that they don't have the ability to play themselves, to make themselves part of the story. That is what I see. You see them all now. The ones that are retired, like Mike Dean, dressing like a media personality when he's on some Sky Sports thing because he thinks he's Billy Big bleeps.
You nearly forgot where you were, Rez, didn't you? You thought You thought you were on Thursday night.
We're waiting for Nick to arrive, and then sorry, Sav, it stops being Football Heritage TV.
That's all right. Listen, we've had some good. Listen, nothing can be as bad today as what Perchy did, so we can all rest in peace.
Come on,
Rez, did you see what Perchy did?
I didn't see, but I have since heard. Perchy.
Only 1,100 Rez in the chat. Only the 1,100 watching.
Perch. Everyone in a naughty Perch.
I'll tell you what though. To fair play to my son Perchy. Listen, I'll be brutally honest. You are spot on. As a defender now, how are you meant to defend? Because they want your hands behind your back when you're defending a cross. When you are blocking a ball and you are a defender right in front of your own goal, you're never going to do that because your body goes small. You naturally try and, you know, balance, and it's just frustrating. And then, you know, but let's talk about the good part of this, guys. Let's talk about the good part of this. Literally, before they'd even finished celebrating, James Maddison, the guy that can't track back, Ben, he can't work hard, as we said, tracks back, makes a tackle, wins the ball. And you know what I love? Every time Maddison gets the ball, his first thought is, how do I get the team moving forward? Yeah. And that was a pitch perfect ball. And Sonny with coolness personified. It was brilliant, guys. Wasn't it? A great reaction.
Gorgeous. And the video I put on, there was a bit buffering before we went live. Gary Neville on Sky. So obviously we were watching. We had it muted for obviously we didn't copyright reasons when we were watching it earlier. Gary Neville on Sky Sports goes, "Oh, they better not be over celebrating Arsenal. They better not over celebrate. This game isn't over yet." And then it pans back. They've literally gone back Saka's tried to go and get James Maddison's darts out of the crowd that he threw in. He goes back, collects them, and James Maddison's intercepted Jorginho and squares it to Stun to equalise in the space of 60 seconds. It was incredible. It was poetic. Do you know what? And the one thing I will say, I said it earlier, it shows the determination from this team. I think we can all agree. Heads last season, seasons before that, heads would have dropped. We've conceded. You could have even argued that the players could have been annoyed that they got a soft penalty. Moaning about it. No, we'll get our head up. We'll go and equalise. We'll get ourselves back in the game like that. And from then on, I don't want to hear any Arsenal fan nonsense. We were the better team from that moment. From that moment on, we were the better team.
100%. No, look, I'm not one for talking about stats all that much. However, the key one for me, 53% possession at their place, right? And yet Captain Black, as I like to call him.
Sorry, Rez, 53.1. Don't forget the 0.1.
53.1.
That's my reference, though, Rez. It's Captain Black, my reference.
It's a shared reference, Ben.
I use it.
He comes out and tries to say that they dominated. Really, Captain Black? Did you? I think you need to retake up residence in Pep Guardiola's rectum, but that's just me.
Wow. So moving away from Pep Guardiola's rectum, listen,
please, at a rate of knots.
Guys, I don't know what you think. I truly thought after the goal, after the equaliser from Sonny, the second one, and until the last sort of 15 minutes, I thought Spurs looked in cruise control. I thought we were defending well. I thought Udogie and Romero, who for me had indifferent first halves, I thought really grew into the game. Papa Sarr grew into the game after some early bad decisions, giving the ball away. Basuma in the second half was the Basuma we knew and loved from the last 5 games. I thought we looked comfortable, guys. I thought we looked like we could go forward and exploit them. I don't want to put a bad note on this, but I just get the feeling if we had better, don't ever go at me. I just feel if we had better wingers, I truly believe we would have taken them to the absolute cleaners. I truly believe that that's where we were weakest, if I'm brutally honest, but people will have a go at me. What do you think?
Having a go at you. Are you serious?
Yeah, I know, Has. It's bad, isn't it?
Have a go at you.
I know, mate.
So negative. That's why it's so negative.
I'm so lovable. I'm so lovable.
Us three, we can have a go at him because he didn't join us for that tasty Italian dinner, which we did.
Okay. We've got
there's a little bit of salt going on from you as well, Sav. Is that right?
Oh, Rez, did you go?
Of course I went.
Wow. Anyway, let's go. No.
I get invited to all the best parties.
It's the ball person convention,
right?
Sava.
To make it up to Sava, I'm willing to take him out to my local Italian, the Pepinos, okay, and dinner on me and dessert if you fancy it.
Superb. As soon as my 75-day thing is over, we'll do it. Listen, Perchy, let me start with you, someone who would invite me for dinner if you lived here, I'm sure. Look, I do feel that we had so much joy without having joy. And what I mean by that is I thought we got the ball out to the wide men so much in that second half, but we didn't quite capitalise. Is that something that you feel we should have capitalised on today, or am I being harsh? You're on mute.
And,
You're on mute.
Oh, he's had another day.
Classic YouTuber.
He's had a
No, listen. I think maybe it's slightly harsh. I thought today, though, I thought we needed to capitalise on a little bit more. But listen, I think that's the best way to put it is there is way more positives that overlay the negatives today. In my opinion,
of course.
I think we can dissect bits and bobs into it on what we saw. The one thing I did like, though, as I said, I think when we got, do you know what I liked this today? When we got the ball, there was purpose on it. Yeah, some things didn't work out, and we went, do you know what, mate? He's got to be quicker. but we had a purpose to everything we did when we went forward. If it was controlled possession, if it was pressing high to win the ball high up the pitch, if it was even just a counter-attack on, I thought we had a purpose in every single way that we did stuff. And you're right, I thought a lot of the chances today could have, would have, should have, and we should have won the game.
Yeah, I mean, Kate, we were in control, weren't we? Until I think until Sonny and Maddison went off, I thought we were very much in control. I understand Maddison coming off. Obviously, with the injury, he said he wasn't 100%. Are you surprised that he took Sonny off?
I was, but then at post-match, he said that he got a knock as well.
Right.
So, in that respect, no. But I said to Jim, I think if he'd have kept Sonny on, Sonny would have got his hat-trick. I really believe that. But as someone else said, the drop off after they came off was so... We just seemed to lose all our creativity. And I think had they have stayed on to the end of the game, we would have won it. I think it's as simple as that. I think Maddison bossed it, and I think him and Son working together, we would have found a way and got the winning goal. But it's something we never know, and Ange had to do what he had to do. I don't blame Ange for taking Sonny off because he knows what he's doing. But I do think had he stayed on, we would have gone on and nicked it.
I think that's it's one of those things where, again, I mean, I always talk about outcome bias. We like, for instance, I was convinced that had it not been for the referee, we would have won that game. However, we can't say that that's necessarily going to happen because we don't know. It might be different. The key here is that I think with Ange, he's only seen his players in a competitive environment 7 times. Right. And so he did it with Fulham to see if it worked, and it didn't. And I think it's a case of he's still trying out different approaches, different changes to see whether or not when, Richarlison and Højbjerg came on, I actually turned to Kim and I said, she said it to me first, but I said, yeah, we're weaker than we were. But at the same time, he's just lost Perisic, for instance. He's lost Johnson. During that game as well. I would not be surprised if there was an element of, do you know what? Let's see if we can do this, because the momentum was with us. Yeah. And at the same time, he's also got to think about, Richarlison's state of mind as well, which was mentioned recently as well. It's very much a case of spinning plates, I think, when you're a football manager. I don't think it's a case of, you can take one sort of element and just do a straight swap and that, the outcome will be determined by that. As far as I'm concerned, I genuinely thought, even when we were saying in the Howard household where we were watching it, we're saying, get Richarlison on and inject a little bit of Tottenham S-housery in to match theirs, because for the first half, they had Vieira falling over when someone looked at him funny. Yeah, right? Yeah. And going near him. So I think that might have worked differently and might have led to a different result. So I think it's a lot of it is ifs, whats, and maybes, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Has, let me come to you. I think the difficulty is, I think Rez is right. We were considerably weaker the moment those two go off. And I think that's the next stage, isn't it, for Tottenham Hotspur? I think we all kind of agree that the first 11 will go toe-to-toe with anyone in this league. We'll see when we play Man City and try and play football against them, because obviously they're the masters at it. But we will go toe-to-toe. The big issue is going to be, and it's the reason why I didn't want European football this year, is the moment you drop out from Maddison to Højbjerg, from Son to Richarlison, the drop-off is absolutely huge. And to off the back of that, Has the few times in the second half where we saw Richarlison get the ball to feet and he just can't hold it up, he can't play, he can't pass, he can't control it. That's the next stage for Tottenham, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you're spot on, and Rez as well. I think game management is a big issue for Ange at the moment, because we really haven't got anyone apart from that first 11 who can go toe-to-toe with teams. He's got to really, really manage that team in terms of, right now, I've got to think about maybe bringing off Maddison because we've got a game coming up next week. We've not got anyone that can really play as good as him, or perhaps bringing off someone else. So that's another issue, another problem for Ange that he's got to sort of deal with at the moment. We saw it today, like you said. The drop-off was noticeable. Yes, we did get chances after they came off as well, but only because Arsenal were pressing to win the game at that point with corner after corner. But look, it's something that's got to be addressed in January, maybe. I think they need to address where we are in the league positionally. And if we stand a chance of finishing in that top half, top five, then maybe push on and go out and buy a couple of more players to get us over the line. Having said that, I want to get back to the game because 54% possession away to Arsenal with a young team such as ours, I think is nothing short of amazing. Yeah. You've seen far better teams go there and completely dominated by Arsenal in terms of possession and attack. I think they were fantastic. In the first half, Will said, you know what, the Doggy's on a yellow card. He's a young guy. You know, he could lose his head here. Perhaps he needs to come off next half. How good was he? The maturity that he showed in the second half to stand his ground and not pick up a yellow card in the second half against Saka and everyone else. Fantastic. I think
and a yellow card hungry ref as well.
And a yellow card hungry ref in a North London derby with all the fans baying for blood. I think shows fantastic maturity, and I think we've got a fantastic player on our hands. That's not me larging him up, saying he's going to be this world-class player that's going to go after Real Madrid. That's just me analysing him and his temperament in this game and the last few games that he's played. Fantastic. Another player I wanted to get into, VDV. Who was the more composed at the back? Who was the player who's been at Tottenham the longest? Because to me, it looked like VDV today. He was so calm, composed. He knew when to put the tackle in. He knew when to get back. And his speed, my God, his speed was amazing. The recoveries and everything else. I thought he was fantastic. Before I come on to anyone else, I also want to talk about Vicario. Vicario's coming for a lot of stick since he was
massively
Tottenham, right? This, that, and the other, and still there's people who sort of question his abilities or his capabilities as a Tottenham Hotspur goalkeeper. For me today, did he really put a foot wrong today? I don't think so. He made a few risky passes, but he's been asked to do that. Ange's style is all about risk and reward, right? He's not going to change his way because the rewards far outweigh the risks if you get it right. And I think he's been brought in to do that. And that's what we're seeing. Today, he made fantastic saves. Fantastic saves that could have changed the course of the game. For me, I think he's only going to get better. He's 27 years old. Okay. He's come into a team in a transitional period. And I think he's done fantastically well into integrating into this team. So I think we've got to give him props today as well. Yes, Maddison will have picked up the Man of the Match award today. But they were matched, there were winners out there on the pitch all over the shop as well, So props to this team, absolutely fantastic. I would also like to know, Sava, where everyone is in terms of your Arsenal subscribers.
We're gonna. I mean, Has single-handedly there just took away my next 3 topics by discussing all those people.
Well, that's what I do, don't I?
Thanks, mate. As you can see, the next topic was going to be Vicario. Look, on a serious note, I mean, Vicario. Let's talk about that. This guy, I don't know why, was getting so much stick from pre-season. And I still don't think any of the goals we let in were down to him. I don't know what he did wrong. He's come in and he's been brilliant, hasn't he, for us? I mean, he worries me a tiny bit when he lets the attacker get so close to him before he plays it out. But hey, that's the risk, that's the reward you get. But he's been nothing short of excellent, hasn't he?
He's been brilliant.
I think he's been incredible. Yeah. I think he got unnecessary stick in pre-season. He was getting judged on 45 minutes here, 45 minutes there. And I just kept saying, listen, I think, but he was getting criticised because his name wasn't David Raya. But let's be honest, this is the question that I'll make. Was David Raya any better than Vicario today? I don't think so. I thought they were very similar. I thought David Raya made a handful of very, very good saves. So did Vicario. I thought they were both very good today as goalkeepers. So I think we now bury the criticism for unnecessary criticism of Vicario now. I think now he's proven every Spurs fan he's the real deal. And the other thing, I think the one thing I love about him, he's so vocal. I never saw this from Lloris. This is a goalkeeper yelling at Romero, Van de Ven, his fullbacks, where are you? Yelling at them. I love that about this guy. And I'll be honest, I think he's a great goalkeeper.
And most importantly, Perch, when Romero did the own goal, he immediately went to Romero, put his arm around him.
Grabbed him, didn't he? I saw that.
He went
grabbed him and said, "Don't worry, we go again.
Let's go again. Let's go again." He's got leadership. Leadership. It's so important for a goalkeeper. He's absolutely class. I think he's going to be a brilliant goalkeeper from us. He just gets it. He just gets it. He's calm. He's composed. I think he's going to be brilliant. He's everything I want a goalkeeper.
I think anyone who criticizes Vicario for not being David Raya is a little unfair, right? And they should admit that they didn't give him a chance. I'm one of them, right? I wasn't happy. I didn't criticize him, but I did criticize the transfer. I said that the transfer of him was a poor choice. I've been proven wrong, and I'm very happy to have been proven wrong. Okay, the guy shows that he's got it. He really has. Some of the saves that he has done, not just in this game, but I think there was one particular one. I think it was against Sheffield United that he did last week, or against Burnley the week before. Unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. The guy is brilliant. I'm really, really pleased, and I don't mind his eccentricity at all. To be honest, I think every goalkeeper should have a little bit of that in him. So yeah, I'm very happy with him. Very happy with him.
All goalkeepers are mad, right? All goalkeepers are mad. All
eccentric. So yeah, Barte's been one of them. Sorry, Kate.
That's all right, darling. I was going to say, although he's got that eccentricity, he's not rash. I don't think he's rash in any way. I always feel really comfortable with him in goal. I don't feel nervous when I see him. You know, there was a little bit where they were passing backwards and forwards back to the keeper and back at the beginning of the game, and I was a bit sort of bit nervous. But I just think he's been fantastic. For me, he hasn't put a foot wrong since he's come in. And I think the stick he got at the beginning was absolutely dreadful. And if people aren't convinced now, then I don't know what it will take to convince them. Because for me, he's been absolutely brilliant.
Judge him on his play. Don't judge him on his transfer. That's not his fault. Yeah. It's like I rail against the idea. What I hear from people is they say it's not about Vicario, it's about Richarlison. They say he cost 60 million. It's about time he started paying us back. It's like he's not there to pay back his transfer fee. And even if he was, you can't ask him to play better than he can play because he costs more. He cost what he cost because that's how much he cost. He will play to the best of his ability. If that's good enough, it's good enough. Yeah. If it's not good enough, it's not good enough. You can't ask him to play better than he can play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just find it very interesting. This guy was like everyone suddenly in the summer turned into a goalkeeping expert. Everyone, what he doesn't do, and it's sort of like, well, how do you know he doesn't do this? You've watched a couple of YouTube videos. How many people had watched his games last season? I remember having a conversation. I won't say with who, but many of you were probably on the WhatsApp group. Somebody that was so adamant that they'd watched all these YouTube clips and not one of them showed him catching the ball. Number of times today he came out, took pressure off the team by catching the ball. No problem. And again, this is the thing. This is when we judge players that we haven't seen play. This is what happens based on the club they've come from, or based on the league, or based on the transfer fee. Let's move it on to Perchy. I want to start with you. For me, the man of the match, I know Maddison got it from Sky, and obviously, as a creative force, you're always more likely to get it. For me, this man should have got it hands down. I don't know what you think. I think I think Mickey van der Ven today, as has said, in that first half, I thought Romero looked really, really nervous. I thought he looked shaky. He looked like the young centre-half, kept giving the ball away with his pass into midfield. We started to see again the rash tackles that didn't need to be made, right? And obviously, I'm not going to blame him for the own goal because these things happen. But Van der Ven didn't put a foot wrong. He didn't dive in, stayed on his feet, nicked the ball away, covered for Romero. I thought he was sensational today, Perchy.
I agree. Van der Ven was my man of the match. He's the one I gave it to on my channel and on my page and stuff. Definitely, I thought it's very easy to give it to someone like Maddison or Son because they scored the goal, created stuff. It's very easy to use that narrative. I tried to think and actually think logical. I think when we needed somebody, when we were backs to the wall against the Kosh against Arsenal in the first half, he was the one player that stood out. And we said it on the stream. We were like, Van der Ven is stepping up today, right? We said this. We were watching going, wow, this guy knows what the deal is. And I thought it's very, very easy to sort of give it to a Maddison because, I thought Maddison was outstanding today. I thought Son as well, you could have got in that conversation, but Van der Ven for me, hands down, what a signing, by the way. Yeah, I thought he's been absolutely brilliant since coming to this football club. He's everything that we've needed as a centre-half. Composure. Let's remember, this kid's a 22-year-old. 22-year-old at centre-half. He looks brilliant.
Yeah, let me come to...
He's made Romero a better player as well.
He has.
I'll come to you, Ben. Just quickly before I do, people smash the likes. There's nearly 400 of you in here, only 156 likes. Come on, if the Tottenham performance like that doesn't get the likes going, yes, hello, Rez.
I just want to say I want to give a big shout out to all the Bumminall fans who are in the chat, helping out a Spurs channel. It's really good that they've come here and with their comments are basically assisting you to go move up the algorithm, Sava. It's very, very nice and generous of them. So thank you very much, Bumminall fans. Good on you. It's great that you're here helping a Spurs channel. Fantastic. Thanks very much.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, thanks for that, Rez. So, guys and girls, please do smash that like button. We should easily be at 250 by now. I'm not even messing about. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. The link to subscribe is in the chat and it is pinned. I think it's only fair. You watch a channel, it's free. Just click the subscribe button. You clearly like something about it. Ben, I'll come to you. He just looked so assured for a 22-year-old centre-half coming into this league. I think he's adapted to... I don't think I've seen him really put too many feet wrong in the first 6 games. He looks brilliant.
He's excellent. I think he's going to be an absolutely brilliant centre-half for us in the future. He's calm. He's assured. He's quick. He's everything I want a centre-back to be. And as my uncle likes to say, he's even got the right name for a centre-back. None of this like Dyer nonsense or Sanchez nonsense. Van der Ven, you know that's a defender. Romero, you know that's a defender. It's the entire package of what I want a footballer to be. He's brilliant. He's getting better in the air as well. He showed that he was good in the air today, made a couple of aerial clearances. It's really exciting to see this boy be already really great. Wait for the future. He's going to be something else. If he's coached properly and he's got a decent set of defenders next to him, I think he's going to be excellent.
Yeah. Rez, listen, I'll be honest. I was critical of Romero in the first half. I was very critical of him because I've been one of these that has said all along, it's okay when you're doing it against, no disrespect, Sheffield United and McBurney and Dominic Solanke of Bournemouth, but when you come up against Saka, when you come up against Odegaard, when you come up against Jesus, I thought that he looked quite ropey. And to be fair, I think he should be given a massive pat on the back to Van der Ven for that first half, for keeping that defence intact.
Absolutely. The one thing I'll say is that, I agree. He was he has played a lot better for us. Let's put it that way, and for his country, and for I forgot which Italian side he came from now. Anyway, he's played.
Atalanta.
That's right. He's played better, right? One thing I will say in sort of defense of him, though, is this season, in 6 games, I think it is, he's only picked up 2 yellow cards now, right? That, I think he's got over that rashness, that sort of rush of blood to the head that made him a real sort of risk on the pitch last season. So I think there's development there yet to be done. I've got to remember, he's still quite young as well. I think he's only 25 now. 25.
He's 25. Yeah.
So there's still some work to be done. I think I'm happy with Romero. I'm happy there. I think we need more sense.
I'm not saying I'm not, by the way. Just to put it out there, I'm not saying I'm not. I just felt like in the first half, I was just really, really worried. And more than anything, in this style of play, the balls that get played into the central midfield area are always going to need to be spot on because they're risky and you're playing in your own half. And I just felt there was a lot of lapse of concentration. But second half, I thought he was magnificent, Romero.
Yeah.
Thought he was superb, didn't put a foot wrong. Yeah. So it's about getting that for 90 minutes for me. Whereas I thought Van der Ven, I remember in the second half, one slice when I think the ball came across and he sliced it away for a corner. Other than that, I just don't think he put a foot wrong.
No, agreed. I think it was. We've got to remember it was a derby, and it cannot be denied that every Spurs player and every Arsenal player will know, what was required and what it means. So I think. And I'm not saying we shouldn't judge him, but I think if we shouldn't draw too many conclusions about them as players from today's performance, other than how much heart they might have. That one you can draw. You can see by the effort they put in. But they would have been nervous. There would have been pressure on them, and especially we've gone 5 games in the league before today, undefeated. It will have preyed on their minds. I think it will take time. This is the key, actually. This is what really demonstrates it, is that the Arsenal fans have all been going on this week about, we're going to batter you and all of that stuff.
Don't worry, we're coming to it, Rez. We're coming to it.
I just want to make this one small point about the development of the players under Ange. They've had 4 years of Arteta. We've had 5 games of Ange, and yet they still couldn't beat us.
Yeah.
Fact.
Right?
Fact.
Imagine what it'll be like in a year, in 2 years, if he stays, if he manages to craft that squad and his manner of play and get it inured into the culture at the club, then you will see what the two clubs are. And I think the players' development is part of that process.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Kate, let me come to you. Let's move. I want to move away from Romero and Van der Ven for a second. Another player I thought was excellent today. I really thought was excellent was Pedro Porro. He's really grown into that. Listen, hands up. I was one. I think many of us were there saying in the summer, for Porro as a right back, God, can he defend? He's been, a couple of moments like Burnley. Yeah, he got turned, but I thought he was excellent again at right back.
Yeah, I agree.
Unfortunately, Nick Barry is gonna. Sorry, Kate.
Sorry, Ben. It's Kate with a K, not a B, an E, and an N.
I was going to say I really doubted Pedro Porro. I was in my pre-match video. I said he was one of the people I was most concerned about, but he, like you say, just seems to have grown into the role. I mean. He was always someone I would have above Emerson Royale, but then I would put my dog above Emerson Royale, to be fair.
Barry.
Sorry. But no, I thought he was excellent. And what I like about him as well is he's so quick running forward. He's so quick going forward with the ball as well. So, yeah, another one who I don't think's done anything wrong and that a lot of us Spurs fans have doubted and that we've been proved wrong again. I mean, Ange is just a magician. He seems to be getting these guys and getting the best out of all of them, which is just mind-blowing. But it just shows that if you get the right coach in, they can achieve so much. There's a lot to be said for a coach that has faith in their players and coaches them well and improves them, which is something that Conte, you know, whether you like him or not, never ever did with our team.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Has, let me. Oh, sorry, Ben. Sorry, you wanted to go on, Ben. What was you going to say? And then I'll go to Has.
Unfortunately,
I'll answer that. No.
No, you can answer it because you're going to have to speak to him next week, right?
Everyone, get your answers in quickly before Perchy ends the stream, like mid-flow. Everyone just get your answers in.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're going to have to give this news to Nick that maybe his boy Emerson might not get in the team for the next.
I would have been happy to give him that news 2 years ago when we signed the useless piece of.
Is that even a debate right now? Like,
It is in Barry's head.
Oh, I'm sorry, but Aporo, was brilliant today, and he has grown in this team.
Look at this! Look at this! Look at this! Angus, I'm trying not to get triggered by the Arsenal fans too early, right? What on earth? Why on earth would he have got a red card? I didn't see anything for a tackle on Saka.
No.
What are you... Angus, do you know what? I would have so much respect for you. You've been in it all week laughing at, like, literally not just saying, oh, I think we'll win. Everyone's seen this, right? Angus, you've been looking at us all week going, what? Get anything at the Emirates? You guys are rubbish. You haven't done anything at our ground for years. We're going to batter you. If you play like PSV did, we're going to open you up. And all you've got is Dogie was very lucky. I mean, no, stop. Because before we get to that...
Did they forget about, what's it called? The tackle on Vicario.
Right, this is what I want to go. This is my point. This is it, guys. If anyone was lucky to see that game out with 11 men, Eddie Nketiah's tackle was shocking.
Yes.
Wow. Disgusting, actually.
Shocking.
I mean, I have actually phoned up my stockbroker to ask if they can buy shares in Sarsens because of the amount of vinegar we need for the salt that's going around.
Oh, it's mad, isn't it? It's mad.
Oh,
Rez.
man.
Do you know what I like, though? Rez, what I've seen, especially in my YouTube chat, my comment section, I've seen loads of Arsenal fans have come in and actually gone, do you know, to be fair, you were so much better than we thought. Yeah, you deserved that. Yeah, you had more possession, blah, blah, blah. There's still these fans that have to say it and then go, you know what, you were good. But but we were good. But.
No.
And we're not PSV. We're not PSV. I've heard that all week. If you open up and play against us like PSV did, you're what? You didn't do anything. We scored your goals for you.
Yeah.
Do you know?
It's absolutely true.
Oh, so frustrating.
It's absolutely true. And against... It really did come down to in large
I like
part.
dud better. It
dud. You know, the past tense of do is dud.
Brilliant.
You know, it all boils down to really that what the Spurs players showed was that they were taking the game seriously. The Arsenal fans were arrogant. The Arsenal fans didn't show us enough respect. It was only after they had that scare, when I think it was Brennan Johnson who ran into the box. When they had that scare, it was sort of like all of a sudden, whoa, hold on a minute, we're vulnerable here. And it showed, right? And then this shows how poor Arteta actually is. He brings in a player like Jorginho, right, who is known to be arrogant on the ball, who basically thinks he's better than he is. He is consistently robbed. Maddison basically saw what he was, has seen what he was, because he's played in the league long enough, says, right, I'm having you. And he did. And he did, right? And these fans who have been doing it are essentially the same as their players. There's a small group of them who think they're better than they are. They've had one decent season in a decade, right? One decent season. And even that one, they finished second in a one-horse race, right? And it was a weakened league. And yet they think all of a sudden they're back. You're nowhere near back.
But you know the bit? Sorry to jump in, Sam, but the bit that's really irritated me, and I've seen it all on Twitter, X, or whatever you want to call it, and the bit that's really irritating me is now the narrative is switched with Arsenal fans, and I'll be honest, Arsenal fans, if you're in the chat, I don't care. I'll call every single one of you out because you're all.
Hardly any of them are here, Perchy. Hardly any of them. They all.
All I'm hearing now is Spurs are celebrating a draw at the Emirates. That's the new narrative. It's no, hang on, babe, no. Break it down. All week, every single one of us has been hearing we're getting battered, we're smashing you, we're doing you lot in. You play that style of football at the Emirates, and we will destroy you. We'll open you up. So I said, no, it's a bit of a finger back at you guys to go, do you know what? Maybe we can turn up at the Emirates and play that style of football and get a result and should have won the game.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's it, Perchy. This is the key thing for me is I think let's get to this section, shall we? Let's get to this section. Let's do it. Listen, for me, I think as we talked about, I like to think I've been quite level-headed about this all week. And I've tried to be level-headed with the Arsenal fans and say, listen, I'm just trying to meet in the middle here. I still think you're favourites to win. I truly believed that going into the game. You're the favourites. You're the team that are fresh off a title challenge. You're at home. You finished second in the league. You finished 24 points above us last year. No one beat you at the Emirates. You're the favourites. And then what I could have stood, guys, you all know this. If I had seen, you know what, I think we'll just beat you. Do you know what? Maybe a 2-1, a 2-0, a 1-0. I could go, do you know what? Cool. They're well entitled to that. It was from the likes of Angus and like this guy. We'll come to this guy in a second. I love this guy. Right?
Oh, yeah. That's the new one. Yeah.
Yeah, I love this guy. Right. All of a sudden, it was, we're battering you. Like, there was no, we might nick it. It was, we are battering you. For remember, I asked the other day, guys and girls in my chat, all the Arsenal fans, give me your predictions. 4-1, 4-0, 5-1, 5-2, 3-0. This, all of them. None of them went for a sensible 2-all, 2-1. Now, all of a sudden, that we've managed to go there and get the draw, which we were told we had no chance of doing, it's turned into this. Yeah. Right? First of all, Matthew Hayden, I think we need to work on your understanding of the word hypocritical. Right? Savra is hypocritical to ignore the injury crisis. Sorry, crisis? An injury crisis is not what you had today, right? As Lukaku just puts Roma 1-0 up. An injury crisis is when you can't really field the first 11 of your team. Arsenal went out this summer after everyone last year had told us, we're winning the league, we're winning the league. You went out and spent £220 million on players. Now, when I dared go into, sorry, it's going to be a rant. When I dared go into other channels and say, do you know what? I'm not actually that impressed with what Arsenal have bought. Not saying Rice isn't good, but you've literally taken Xhaka out, put Rice in. So you've not actually added depth. You've bought a backup goalkeeper or the goalkeeper goes in, all right, but there was nothing wrong with your other goalkeeper, right? Timber, you've been unlucky with, good player. And the other player they signed was Havertz, complete waste of money. So Arsenal have gone and spent 220 million. The whole point is so that you don't have to have injury crises. Now, let's break this down even further because you have pissed me off, Matthew Hayden, with your nonsense. Right? Timber, we already knew Timber and Partey were injured. So don't be coming with that. We already knew it. We could say we've got Lo Celso out injured. We've got Perisic, Bentancur, right, Brian Hill. We could say Hugo Lloris. We've got injuries, so don't give it that one. Second of all, only one of Trossard or Martinelli can play at once. So this whole loads of injuries. Rice went off injured. So did James Maddison, the guy that ran the game.
So did Brennan Johnson.
So did Brennan Johnson. So if you're going to come here and first of all, understand how to talk about the word hypocritical, first of all, know your history. First of all, know your facts about what injuries Spurs have got as well. Second of all, don't be coming in here all week, Matthew, talking to me about, you said we're gonna be a 3-0, I think you said. Why don't you come in and go, you know what? We got it wrong. You guys were better than we thought. And we go, fair enough. Fair play to you.
Mm.
Fair play to you for saying that. But you don't. Sorry, I'm aware I've talked a lot. I just hate
No, Sam, the thing
hate
is,
this hypocrisy.
can I look? I think you're being very, very harsh on Matthew. Okay, you've got to bear in mind he's got a lot of pain in his knuckles from when they've been dragging along the street. You know, it's a painful condition, and so especially when they type, it just comes out all wrong. You know, you've got to have some sympathy for people who can't walk and chew gum at the same time.
And the excuses. I'm gonna chuck it to you five and let you five talk in a second. But all I'm seeing now is, oh, you're celebrating a draw. Well, hang on. You told us we weren't even worthy of we weren't even worthy of losing by 2 goals. We were worthy of losing by 4 or 5 earlier. Now it's the excuse of injuries that we got as well. Then it's the excuse of this. This is what you get from loads of them. We've won trophies. What trophies have you won? Oh my God!
What's that got to do with anything?
Guys are unbearable, and this is why so many fans that I've seen that aren't Spurs or Arsenal are so happy that Arsenal fans look dumb. You look dumb today, most of you.
Agreed.
Rant over.
It's like Paul Merson. It was like Paul Merson saying, that Arsenal were going to slaughter us. He must have been higher than when he was on cocaine when he made that comment. You know what I mean? I mean,
awful.
Seriously.
Do you know what I find amazing? And this is the bit. Listen, Savage got a point here. Like, I actually have no issue with him coming with all this chest and all this, we're going to batter you, blah, blah. No problem. But then to come out and change it, switch it completely. Spurs are celebrating a draw. You can't. It makes me go. You're basically just making it up as you go along. It's madness. Blaming it. The injury one's incredible. Yeah. We knew 3 of those players were going to be injured. Martinelli, Partey, and Timber. We knew they were injured. There was no disguise. We knew that they were going to be injured. Trossard came out of nowhere. It came very quickly. So there's one more. So they had 4 injuries. They then talk about Declan Rice. Okay. Injuries happen in a game.
Exactly. That's what you got
2 injuries in a game.
Jorginho finished 3rd in the race for the Ballon d'Or, so surely he's good enough. Surely, guys.
Oh, don't start the Ballon d'Or
guys,
thing. Where was Ballon d'Or worthy Bukayo Saka today? Apart from scoring a penalty, he was more or less anonymous. He was anonymous today. All this nonsense I hear, it's boring out.
I need a wee, but remind me when I get back. I want to talk about Saka.
Yeah, sure.
Remind me.
Yeah, I mean, there is nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with, as you say, Perchy. There's nothing wrong with showing chest. Believing in your club, backing your club. That's all fine.
I get it.
But they turn around celebrating a draw. Well, we got a point away from home. Yeah. That is something positive. You generally celebrate something positive. If we'd lost and we're going, yay, we lost, that might be something that you would judge people on. But we came to your manor, we were the away side, and we beat you, okay? We dominated you. We had more of the possession. I think we had more shots, okay? And we actually scored open play. We scored from open play. You scored from a deflection, from an own goal, and a set piece. Yeah, we were the better team. That's what we're celebrating.
And that's why they're so salty.
Okay, and that's why you're salty.
Can I just say?
What I was going to say, you're spot on in that, and this is the bit. We're not celebrating that we've got a draw. We're celebrating that celebrate is not even the wrong word. I think we're just excited and happy because actually, do you know what? People now can look at Tottenham and go, do you know what? These mean business now. I think a lot of clubs now are on high alert about Tottenham. They're looking at Tottenham going, do you know what? These lot mean business because it's very Tottenham to start well and then get beaten at the Emirates. It's very Tottenham.
Can I just interrupt very quickly? Otis Joe is saying apparently you can't count possession if you pass back to your keeper every 15 seconds. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize there were types of possession.
Wow.
I mean, it's like how granular can I get to avoid giving Spurs any credit when they have utterly humiliated us?
Mental, innit?
That's superb. Sorry, guys. That really made me laugh. I wanted to raise it before it disappeared off the screen.
But I just find insufferable is the great word. Insufferable is a great word. And do you know what? It's humility. Listen, do you know what it is? And I'm going to say this. Arsenal fans are the worst for it. They really are. Because do you know what today, guys? If we had lost today 2-1, just saying, if we'd lost, I think we'd all gone, do you know what? Fair play to Arsenal. They won the game. We should have taken our chances and we didn't. Fair play to them. These guys are way ahead of us. And we'd have gone, do you know what? It is what it is. These lot don't go, do you know what? I'm annoyed that we've drawn against you guys because we should be beating you and we should be getting ahead of ourselves. And you guys, fair play, good result for you to get a point at our place. Right.
Sorry to laugh. Sorry, POTUS Joe, but really, I mean, listen, mate, the bottom of the barrel's about to go. There's nothing left. You've scraped it that hard. Come on.
It's mad. Honestly, it's mad.
He's saying, oh, yeah, you've got the majority of possession when you pass to your goalkeeper every 15 seconds, right? Yes, of course there are types of possession.
Why would we be moaning if Maddison's out for the Liverpool game? What are you on about?
Honestly.
This is mental.
This is why Arsenal fans are so detested by every single fan base. Because they're so deluded. They're so above their stations. And the worst thing is this new breed of Arsenal fans that are the younger generation don't even know the history of their own club. They're an embarrassment.
But they've all come through, and no disrespect, but they've come through the social media version of Arsenal, which is insufferable. I don't care. I'll say it how it is. A lot of us are a lot older in the sense of that we watch football without the social media stuff. So it doesn't affect us. A lot of these younger lads watch it through social media eyes and feel you have to be super patriotic about your football team.
Yeah, you're not allowed to be honest.
You can't go, do you know what? You guys were good today. Good result. Well done. Where the rest of us can actually talk like that.
Arsenal fans were like this before that, Perch, because I've told this story many times. I went to school with an Arsenal fan and I made the comment, this was year 8, so this is 2008. I commented that Thomas Rosicky isn't that great. Good player, it's not the greatest. The Arsenal fan turns around and says, well, it's better than all your players. That's
what they've got. So
like this.
Just a couple of comments I want to bring up. First of all, listen, do you know the difference, POTUS Joe, the president of the United States Joe, with an asterisk? I like this. Great name.
Just don't fall asleep during the stream, please.
The difference between me and you, POTUS Joe, and the difference between me and the Arsenal fans is, you know what? I won't be complaining. If Maddison's out, I'm gutted because he's a top player. But you know what? If I know there's a chance of Maddison being out, I'm going to factor that into my opinion throughout the week. So if you sit here right now and go, Basuma and Maddison are injured for next week's game, right? When someone goes to me, and we'll do our Liverpool predictions later. When someone says to me, Spurs v Liverpool, what's the score? I'm going to go, do you know what? I would have fancied this with them. Without them, I'm not so sure. You guys and girls in the Arsenal fan base didn't. You knew Martinelli was 50-50. You knew Partey was injured. You knew Timber was out injured. Yet you all stuck your chests out and said 4-1, 5-1. And if you're telling me the difference between you beating us and not is Declan Rice getting injured at half time, who I didn't really see do a lot in the first half anyway.
No, he was anonymous.
You're mad. And the other point I did see, one that I liked, was Nick, I didn't want to be that horrible and tell him. I thought it was harsh.
I didn't see it, and I didn't.
I was that close. That close.
This is the thing.
The other day, whilst we were having dinner, of course, me and Rez, we were talking about how we hate different people's spelling, and we were just I could just see Rez in his mind, just like.
Yeah. I mean, it is. It's like if you say, you're gonna have a drag race with someone, right? And a bloke comes up to you and says, "My car's got 4 flats, but I'm still gonna beat you," right? You can't turn around afterwards and say, "I didn't beat you because I got 4 flats."
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You knew.
It's
right?
mental. Can I tell you the annoying thing is? It's like when Man City. Right, when Man City play you guys without Rodri, Man City won't be sitting there going, "Oh, we're losing this game now because Rodri's out." They're not going to suddenly do that. They're going to find a way to play without Rodri. Now, this is the point. Your manager's been at your football club for 4 years. Your manager, this is his squad. If I'm not wrong, someone tell me the only 2 left are Saka and Martinelli, who came through the youth development side anyway, right? Go on,
Well, isn't this the same team that cancelled a game with us because it didn't have enough players?
Yeah.
Right, of course. But my point is this. If you are genuine title challengers, you're telling everyone how great you are. Then when you don't beat a team that finished 8th last year and have only just got a new manager and changed philosophy, right, and playing all these young players that we played, and you don't beat us and your excuse to that is, "Oh, but we had some injuries." Who doesn't have Name me a team in the Premier League without any injuries.
Yeah. It's silly. But can I just say, the same Arsenal, by the way, the same Arsenal fans, this is what I find them absolutely incredible. The same Arsenal fans laugh at Chelsea for losing every week when Chelsea have got 14 injured players right now. So it's incredible. It's when you see the same people laughing about injuries, them about this, and then laughing at Chelsea for losing today against Aston Villa. I find it absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Does it come down to poor investment from that lot at the end of the day? Because
I think it does.
One thing I've been looking at, right? I've been looking at this, right? And I had to write it down because I didn't want to forget. But Rice cost Arsenal £105 million, right? Bissouma and Maddison cost us a combined £65 million. Let that sink in.
Bargains when you think about it like that, right?
Bissouma and Rice cost us £65 million combined. You can
hold on. Sorry, Has. Can I just interrupt very quickly? POTUS Joe, don't take the moral high ground about the English stuff when you are criticizing people's intelligences. All right, you can't stand on that hobby horse. Okay, so shut up or debate honestly. All right. Sorry, Has. Carry on.
No, that's all right. No, I'm just looking at that and thinking, like what Saba said earlier on, Rice came in to replace Xhaka as a like-for-like replacement. Now, he was taken off today. What replacement did they have for him? Havertz? It's poor recruitment, in my opinion. Everyone was, saying, "Oh, they signed Rice for 105 million. He's the future." I'm not doubting Rice is a good player. He's a good player. But at the end of the day, if you're challenging for a title, you've got to do a hell of a lot more than having just one like-for-like replacement. And all this stuff about, we didn't have this player, we didn't have that player. Well, we all knew it was going to happen. We all sort of said it before the game. I wonder what the excuses are going to be. And lo and behold, we've heard them all, right? Have we heard anything that we haven't?
Mate, we're hearing all the excuses we predicted. We're hearing, but the funny thing is, all I heard before the game was, "Oh, if you play like PSV, if you try and attack us." Listen, I hate to break it to you, Arsenal. We had more possession than you. We had the same amount of shots with you, more clear-cut chances than you, more passes than you. You guys can. Do you know what? I would have so much respect. Just turn around and own it. Just turn around and own it.
Remember, passes to your goalkeeper don't count. According to some.
I'm sorry, Rez. That's above your pay grade, Sunshine.
Yes, that's true. That is above my pay grade, definitely.
Yeah. It just makes me laugh.
It's silly.
Has, to your point, what I would say is, look, I like Declan Rice. He's a good footballer.
Yeah, he is.
I forget the money because, like we talked about earlier, the same way with Vicario, the price tag isn't his fault that he's cheap. Declan Rice, the same way it's not his fault that his price tag is 105 million. He will be a quality signing for Arsenal for the next equaliser for Torino in the 85th minute. He will be a quality signing for Arsenal for the next 6, 7, 8 years because he'll play in midfield week in, week out. You know what you're going to get. I'm not doubting that. But my point is, if you've got 220 million to spend after just finishing second in the league, right? For me, go and bolster your squad.
Yeah.
Like if you've got good scouts, 220 million could. How much did City pay for Nunez? For Doku?
I want to say 40, 50 million.
Right?
Yeah.
This is what I was saying on my stream earlier on. They went and paid 60 odd million for Havertz, right? How much did Manchester City pay for Doku? What, about 40 million?
Yeah.
You can't tell me there isn't better players than Havertz out there for less than 60 or 40 million or 40 million. You can't tell me that. Why they brought Havertz in, I don't know. He was shocking today as well. In fact, I think
it was awful.
That shot he took, I can hear it now. It just landed in my garden.
Yeah.
It's
not just got snow on it, it's got bloody stardust on it. It's like
it's got hairs on it. Well,
didn't we? The three of us, me, you, and Sava, we were on the watch on when that sub came. We went, wait, what? We went when we were wait. Declan Rice is coming off, and Vieira came off. What? And then they're bringing Jorginho and Havertz. And I'll tell you what, I was relieved. I went, do you know what, guys? We're getting these in the second half. I sat back and went, do you know what? Them two are nowhere near the levels of the other two. Nowhere near the levels of the other two. We were looked, but it says it all right. They've spent a lot of money. They've talked with chest, which is fine. I stand by it. They can. Humility, right? And by the way, Machiavelli's bang on, right? That's spot on. They would love a Basuma in that team right now. They would love it. They have no energy in that midfield compared to us.
I just need to go through some super chats. Rez, how long you got? Do you need to jump now, or are you?
Yeah, I just very quickly. I'm again. I know I'm picking on him a little bit. I'm sorry, POTUS. I know it might hurt.
No, go for it.
But when you basically, Sava's got a lot of comments to get through. Just because he hasn't brought yours up yet doesn't mean that he won't. Believe it or not, you're not the most important person in the chat. But just to say, we were comparing two central midfielders' price tags with two of your central midfielders' price tags. You can't then compare two midfielders' price tags with the price tags of a defender and an attacker. I hope that that's clear enough for you. I'm gonna have to sign off now, guys. Big love to you all, and speak to you soon. All right,
much love, Rez. Thanks for coming on. Cheers, Rez.
Bye-bye.
See you later. I'll just get through some super chats. First of all, big up Sean Smith, who's been a member for 1 month. So big up Sava. What a game today. Yes, really good game, Sean. Really enjoyed it. And it was what we wanted. We wanted to go toe-to-toe with Arsenal. We wanted to play football. We did. And it was good to watch. So big up to you. Tariq Rashid has said, big up the panel. Impressive result today, but next week is your real test. I've never rated Arteta as a top coach, but Klopp is a completely different chat. See you next week. Well, our next topic, once we finished roasting the Arsenal fans, is going to be about Liverpool next week before we sign off in the next 15, 20 minutes or so. So big up to you, Tariq. I really appreciate that. Stick around for the Liverpool chat. We'll definitely be going there in a minute. And Faz, big up Faz. Me and Faz, we have our ding-dong battles, but here he is. Being nice. You can tell Spurs have done well today. I said, has anyone interviewed Merson after the match? It goes to show, just because somebody's an ex-pro doesn't mean everything they say about football is correct. Big up to you. Yeah, I can't wait to see what Merson says if he's asked about that. I absolutely can't. Guys, last thing I'll say on the Arsenal fans. Look, as I said, I'm not sitting here celebrating, oh my God, we got a draw. I'm not at all. I predicted the draw. I thought we'd draw. I predicted all of what happened today because I like to think I'm realistic. These guys are the ones that rate their teams so highly that they're going into games against teams like Spurs thinking they're going to score 5 goals. And the frustration I have of all of this, if they just come in the chat and just say, do you know what? Fair play. You go, fair play to you, mate. Yeah. But they don't. they're still trying to find ways to belittle us after they said they'd batter us 5-1. And that's what annoys me.
It's almost like, how could such a great club like ours, not win against Tottenham Hotspur?
Yeah.
It's almost like that,
Yeah.
How comes a club like us, like a prime Brazil, Ronaldo, R9 and everything, not win against Tottenham Hotspur? And that's what it is. It's really cringe. It really is cringe. And
I'm
not saying,
sorry, Has, carry on.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying all the fans are like that. It's just a minority that come on here, I suppose. But look, it's just cringe, guys. Just stop. Just be gracious in it. Like we're gracious when we lose. We'll say, Arsenal were good. Arsenal were this, that, or the other. We won't put it down to all these excuses. Just be gracious, whether it's in defeat or draw.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say pretty much. And I was going to say, if they, the reason they don't come in and say, well played, we underestimated you, you're better than, we thought you were, is because they've got no class. It's as easy as that. And it's the same with Arteta and Ange. I think you could see it on the sidelines. Arteta's got no class at all, shouting and screaming and throwing his arms around. Ange is calm, cool as a cucumber, suited and booted. And that's the difference. You've either got class or you haven't. And, I'm sorry, but the Woolwich lot haven't got a lot of it.
Yeah, no, I think you're spot on. Do you know what? I think that is one of the reasons, like, when I speak to a lot of football fans, why they're so frustrated with Arsenal. Arteta is just a pillock, isn't he, on that line? He is, I heard Perchy say the word earlier, insufferable. He is just, everything is like, it's just like, dude, what are you doing? Relax. Like, why are you?
Oh, it was doing my head in. He was like anything, like any decision, it was like, just, oh, come on, man, grow up. Like, it's the antithesis of everything about Arsenal, though. He suits them to the ground. You see these fans, and I'm not saying all of them. I've actually spoken to some really nice guys and stuff, like my mates of mine. When he said that he messaged me straight after the game, went, mate, fair play to your lot. You should have won the game. We were awful today. And listen, I went, fair play for coming out and saying it. And that's the difference. And it is a minority of ones coming in here. The problem is, it's the social media stuff. It's screaming about it and stuff. And I just sit there and go, there's no, it's like me and you spoke about the other days. There's no football debate anymore. As you said,
no, it's ridiculous.
They don't come on in and go, do you know what? Fair play. First half an hour, 40 minutes, we should have. We came on and we should have taken those chances we had. And Nketiah should have scored and Jesus should have scored. But after that, you guys got yourselves back in the game. The penalty, you can debate the penalty all you want. Listen, I can argue either to and from on it. And I just found it very, very. It's the school ground. Oh, well, we're better than you. But it's like, come on, man. We're adults here. Football debate, right?
I just wanted to quickly, sorry, Sava. I know this is a cooking session and there's cooking in progress, but I just wanted to touch on Brennan Johnson. I wanted to mention him before, but I didn't get a chance. I just wanted to say he looked really bright today in certain spells, and it was just his finishing that really let him down in certain occasions where he should have tucked the ball home. He had great opportunities, but what I wanted to say is this guy could turn out to be a very shrewd signing for Tottenham Hotspur, in the sense that this is a perfect opportunity for him to learn under Ange in a very young team, to integrate with the other players and get first team football. I was saying on another stream, I think it was on my own stream, to be honest, but I was saying if Brennan Johnson was bought during the 16-17 season, where we was really in our pomp fighting for the league and stuff, there's no way he would have got in that team as he is currently, right? I don't think he would have. But right now, it's a perfect opportunity with what Angie's doing. I think it's a really, really good time for him to be in the team, because he is going to get minutes. He is going to start the games for us when he's fit, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, just quickly, I do want to, for the last 5-10 minutes, I do want to talk about Liverpool moving on to next week. Before I do that, I'll ask kindly, guys and girls, thank you. There's over 365 of you in the chat. I'll ask nicely, if we can get 5 or 10 subscribers that would be wonderful. So 5 to 10 of you right now would go over and subscribe. That would help me massively. Please smash the like button. Look, the link is here in the chat. All you have to do is click there. It won't take you away from the page. Just click that link and subscribe. It would be really, really appreciated. And I haven't really asked throughout the show, so please do. Yeah. That would be great. I want to get a prediction from everyone. We're not playing midweek, so which means, boys, we can enjoy our watch-alongs like we normally do for the midweek, where Perchy pretends he's Jeff Stelling, and it's all good fun. And Has is always eating loads and has got 4,000 games on the go. And then you've got Steve, who's about a minute and a half behind on any stream we're watching, and it's so funny to see a reaction twice. But before we do that, before we get into that, Tottenham at home next week against Liverpool. Liverpool are a threat, by the way. Liverpool, everyone has knocked them. Everyone has said this is Klopp's finished. He can't rebuild. Liverpool are now, is it 18 games unbeaten in all competitions? Mm-hmm. They don't lose games. They score for fun. They look like they've figured that midfield out. So I'm going to go around one by one, and I'm going to write these scores down so we save them. Let me start with you, Kate. Home to Liverpool. Different proposition to Arsenal today, but what are you thinking for this game?
Oh God, do you know what? I'm actually as nervous for this game as I was about the Arsenal game, because they're just so dangerous going forward, and they scare me. I'm not going to lie. I am going to, I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw for the Liverpool game, because I think they will definitely score. But I think Ange has brought bounce back ability back to White Hart Lane, so I can see us getting back in there. But 2-2 for me. I don't think there's any way on this planet we will stop them scoring. So I'm going to hold out for a draw. And I mean, Peter's saying, would you take a point? It's a hard one because they're such a good side, but we do have quite a good record against Liverpool at home. So
not for a while, though. Not for a while.
And because of the momentum they've got at the minute, I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw. Another good game. And I'll be pleased with a draw. I think a draw will be a good result. If we can win it, even better. But I'm going 2-2. Okay,
so Kate is going with a 2-2. Let me save that. So Kate has gone with
receipts.
Kate has gone 2-2. Okay, Ben, Tottenham, Liverpool. What are we going with?
I think Liverpool are really dark horses for the league title this season. I think they're going to fly really far under the radar. As Kate just said, they are vicious going forwards. They've got some absolute class. It's whether they can defend properly is the problem. But if they can get a couple of reinforcements in January and shore up that defence, they could be really dangerous. So they fly forward. That someone in the chat said Szoboszlai has been amazing. He's a very good footballer. He's everything that Kai Havertz isn't as a midfielder. He's class. I think we will have enough to get through the game as a draw, but I don't see us getting anything more than a draw. I think they're a very good side. I hope we can get a win at home. Ange hasn't lost a game at home for something like, I can't even remember, that it's ridiculous.
50 or 51 it is.
Something like 50 games. I think we won't lose. But I think we're going to get a draw. I'm going to go with a 3-3 draw. It's two teams that like to score goals, so 3-3 draw.
3-3 draw. Okay, Perchy, let me come to you. 3-3 from 3-3 from Ben.
Oh, do you know what? It's a tough one, and it's on the basis on two major factors today that happened today. Is Maddison going to be able to play? Is Brennan Johnson going to be able to play? Because I think those two are going to be so crucial if they can play or not. Because one thing that there is a blueprint to get at Liverpool. And we saw it last weekend. Wolves showed in the first 45 minutes the blueprint to get at Liverpool. Aggressive pressing from the front and get at that back four. The other issue is the other end. Their attack is very, very good. but our attack is better than Wolves' attack. So I'm trying to work it. Maddison's crucial, and Brennan Johnson will be crucial to this prediction. So I'm going to predict it on the basis that those two are going to be able to play. So, and I will adjust my decision on my result if they're not available. So I'm going to say another 2. I'm going to say another 2-2 on this because I fancy us being able to break them down. But that Liverpool attack is very, very strong.
Okay, all the draws so far. It's up to Chef Has. What's going on, mate? Are we going to win this? Are we getting beaten, or are you going? Are you going to get some splinters in your bum as well?
No, not at all. Not at all. 2-1 to Tottenham. That's what I was going to say. I think we can beat. They're not impenetrable, right? They're not this sort of impenetrable team that everyone thinks they are. They are good going forward, but I think we've got to put things into perspective as well. Today we conceded a penalty and an own goal. Okay, I think we can see out a game 2-1. I think they will score, but I just think with the way that Ange likes to play, the high pressure, we are going to get spaces against them as well, especially with their wing backs bombing forward as well. I can see a win on the horizon, 2-1. I'll go for Spurs.
2-1. Interesting. I'll go with a 3-2 Spurs win. I want to be positive about this now. I think today for me answered a lot of questions that I had. Today I answered a lot of questions about, can we be resilient? Yes. Can we bounce back from adversity? Yes. Can we go toe-to-toe with one of the best teams in the league? Yes. I don't know. There's something different about this Spurs team. I think they'll score. I do. I think they've got so much goal power. Darwin Núñez, Mo Salah, Gakpo, Diaz, Jota. It's just they seem to all score every week. I know they don't, but it's like every time Liverpool score, it's like, who is it? It's like, oh, it's him. What I would say is, isn't it written in the stars? Ange's had this great start. He's getting these plaudits, gets the point at Arsenal. Somebody's got to break this Liverpool, this run of games for Liverpool, haven't they? Someone's got to break that unbeaten run. Why not be Spurs and Ange Postecoglou? So I'm going to go with a 3-2 to Spurs. But I think that if it's a draw, I'm not going to be surprised. But said at the beginning of the week, we come out of these next 2 games with 2 points, maybe 4. Happy days. Does anyone else think, Ben's raised an interesting point there. Does anyone else think Liverpool can win the title? I think that they won't have enough. I think that they're going to get caught out of the back. But hey, they're a good team. So anyone else think Liverpool?
Serious firepower.
Yeah, that's what they have got.
I think Liverpool will be there or thereabouts. They're not. No one's beating Man City.
I think they'll finish second.
I agree. I think they finish second. I agree with you. I think they will try to be close. I think they are the closest team that I've seen this season to Man City. Genuinely, like, we've been seriously watching them play. I think Liverpool are great. What Liverpool, one of those teams is, I think defensively they need to improve, and I think they will do soon, maybe in the January or in the summer coming through. But what I do see with them, with this team, is they can get out of jail with the likes of Salah, Jota, Diaz. They've got such quality in that final third that you go, do you know what? Fine. If we concede in the first half, we have players that win the games of football, right? And even today, like, we won it, and obviously West Ham equalised, and we went, oh, West Ham are it. And you went, nah, second half, boom, there it is. Darwin Núñez, Jota, game over, right? That's what Liverpool do to you. So, listen, I don't think they're going to be good enough to win the title, but I think they'll finish second.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think they're going to win it. I think they'll probably finish second, but they're just not as strong as Man City. I mean, they're just off the planet good, aren't they? It's just bloody sickening, really. But yeah, Liverpool's attack is terrifying, I think, but their defence is not as good as they're not as good at the back as they are at the front, basically. So for me, yeah, they might be the closest to City, but they will not win it, in my opinion. Why are you laughing, Perchy?
No, I was laughing at the comment going, "Oh, Sav's being all positive. The world's gonna end."
Sava's positive because there's something to be positive about. Like last season, when people just said throwaway comments like, "Be more positive." Oh, okay, yeah, all right. When there's nothing to be positive about, what I would say is, I tell you, when a matchup I'm going to be really intrigued by next week is going to be Mo Salah. I know we said it this week about Saka and a doggy, but Mo Salah for me is a different level above Saka.
Yeah.
This is a guy that causes you problems all the time. This is a guy that Liverpool look to get the ball to at all occasions. So this will be a really interesting matchup. A doggy passed today. Poor start. Really grew into the game and did really well. But again, their firepower scares the crap out of me. Not many clubs can say they've got that many forwards.
Is this a bigger test than Arsenal, would you say, next week?
I think it's a bigger test because there's more pressure on us to win it because we're at home. That's what I would say. I think it's a bigger test because they're unbeaten in how long? I think it's a bigger test because, they have got players that have been there, seen it and done it. Virgil van Dijk, Robertson, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Mo Salah. These players have been there, seen it, done it. But
got a t-shirt.
I do believe Perchy's point was spot on. We watched Wolves the other day. Yeah, they couldn't do it for 90 minutes, but Wolves got at them. Again, this is where I think Ange needs to get it right. Down those flanks, they were got at. And again, I would remove Brennan Johnson from the left if he is fit. I would put Brennan Johnson on the right and let him actually run and take players on. I don't like everyone being inverted. Just tells everyone what you're going to do. So, could we? Yeah, we could. Actually, us having Son has nothing to do with whether I fear Mo Salah going the other way. Those two things for me don't balance each other out. And we do have Son, but Son is now not the same as Salah. Son's position now is he's very reliant on being fed. Yeah. So, hey.
I really like that position as well, because when he gets the ball in a dangerous area, he is a class. He might not be a world-class player anymore, but there's something he hasn't lost. He is a world-class finisher. Get him a ball in a dangerous position, he will stick it in the back of the net. That's what he's good at.
He is, and that's what I wanted to just, before when I went and I said I want to talk about Saka. Again, the whole Saka conversation is completely typified of how Arsenal view their own team. Saka is a very good winger for me, but he is a moments player. For me, I don't feel like he caused problems at all in that second half. I felt like he was absolutely anonymous. And Odegaard, remember, Odegaard's better than Maddison. No one was putting Maddison in their team above Odegaard. I didn't see Odegaard today.
I had this debate yesterday, and Sava, and I found it absolutely hilarious. Because listen, I made the point. I said, listen, I get it. I get it if Arsenal fans want to put, I'm not a massive fan of combined 11s, but Arsenal fans are going, Odegaard must be in over Maddison. I said, okay, why? Give me your reasons. Well, this, that, and that. I went, what about this season? Let's judge it on, Jacob, exactly. You were there. I said, Maddison, there's a reason why he got player of the month. I said, we're now judging this on what? Odegaard's better because of what? Look at Maddison's numbers. And Maddison today showed that he is a bigger player in a bigger game than Martin Odegaard.
He's class.
Everything great comes through James Maddison. And do you know what? Do you know what I love the most about it? And I think I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but both goals that we scored, it came through Maddison working hard. It wasn't. Do you know what I'm going to say? It wasn't a bit of quality. Do you know sometimes you go, do you know what? It was a quality diagonal pass that he finds Son and Son buries it. It was Maddison pressuring Saka for the first one, making Saka spin on a sixpence, finds Son. The second one, he doesn't have to press Jorginho early in. They've just kicked off. But he's pressed him and caused him and opened him up massively. And that's the key bit. It's hard work, which I loved about him today. His hard work earning the plaudits today.
Yeah, I don't think any of us can disagree with that, can we? Before we wrap up.
Before we go, I'd like to mention how good of a captain Sonny was today. I thought he was absolutely superb as a captain. He led that team so brilliantly. All the three people that we have as our captains, they really showed a lot of quality today. They showed a young team can go up against a big boy and marshal them through that game. Sonny was excellent, especially bringing that huddle closer to the fans again. I love that. It shows a real togetherness with the football club.
Yeah,
Maddison being Maddison, 50-year contract again. I think he's different gravy compared to a lot of players we've seen. And Romero, although he had a difficult first half, he was excellent in that second half. It's really strong leadership team.
When you see, just quickly before we go, guys, when you see how Maddison plays and that we finally got someone that can link midfield and the forwards, doesn't it just beg a belief that nobody at this club for nearly 5 years has seen that we need that? Like, do you know what I mean? Like Conte in his 2 years at Spurs, turning down playmakers, and you're like, what are we doing here? Like, why? It's just a breath of fresh air all round. And I'm going to ask a question. Is he the best signing of the summer so far? Not for Spurs, Premier League.
Yes. We're not being biased. Yes.
Yeah.
6 goal contributions in 6 games so far. And I mean, look at his performance today. Look how he spun Saka for that first goal. And then look at the weight of the ball towards Son for the second goal. Just ridiculous. Like, it's hard to imagine that we've only paid, 30 million if you do the maths with Winks going the other way for a player of his quality. So I think if you look at it value, pound for pound, I think he's got to be the signing of the summer so far.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was going to say, I don't think any other new signings come in and had the impact that Maddison's had on this team. He has literally changed our team completely. Everything creative goes through him. And he's just incredible. He really is an incredible player. And yeah, for me, I said it when we signed him, I think he'd end up being the signing of the summer. And I still stand by it. I think by the end of the season, he will still be the signing of the summer. So yeah, amazing. I love him.
Yeah, Perchy.
Do you know, I agree. I think he has been. But do you know what? I'm going to put his footballing qualities this season to the side for one second because they've been brilliant. Everything about James Maddison at his football club is everything I love about it, because you know when we always hear it, and we hear players need time to bed in. James Maddison hasn't. He comes in, and one of the greatest things that I love about it, when the manager goes and says, he came in and the first thing he said to me was, should we do things like this? He was giving me options and ideas to work on, things I haven't thought about. Other players, you could come in and go, okay, cool, we'll come in and just do it. He comes in, and another one I wanted to sorry, Haz, I know you want to jump back.
Yeah, it's all right. I'll come off.
Last one I want to say is the first thing he did when he came in, he obviously knew Harry Kane was leaving. He knew Harry Kane was leaving, and the first thing he could have done is gone, you know, I'm not going to take that number 10 shirt. I'll have 25 or whatever, blah, 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 because that's a big number at Tottenham Hotspur. First thing he does, no, I'm having it when he goes. As soon as he's gone, I'll have it. And he's shown everything about wearing that number 10 shirt. What I love, the greats that have worn that number 10 shirt at this football club. He is now becoming one of those greats. And it feels like he's been here for 5 years already. It feels like it. He settled in immediately. And that, for me, is the greatest part of it.
I was just going to say a very close second for me would be James Ward-Prowse at West Ham.
Yeah, it started well.
Great shout.
Also gone to West Ham, and he's just settled there like a glove. You know, he's made so many goal contributions. He's scored goals as well. I think he's a perfect fit for them, exactly what they needed, because obviously, as we all know, West Ham's really good aerially and from set pieces. Now, with his deliveries and stuff, I think it was a perfect signing for them, and value for money as well. I believe they paid something like 30 million for him or something just under that. So
I I remember saying that to you on your show, Has, when I came on Southview Quiz, saying that James Ward-Prowse has been a magnificent signing for West Ham.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic.
Another player that everyone underrates. Oh, he just takes free kicks. He's a good footballer. He's a good technical footballer.
I really like him. I think he's a really good football player, James Ward-Prowse.
Yep. Yeah, listen, let's wrap it up there. The last thing I will say is, listen, when I remember getting absolutely berated, I did a video in the summer and I said, this is our best signing for a decade. And I meant it. And everyone was going, oh, so reactionary. For me, this is the best ready-made player we've ever signed. In the last decade. This is the best player who has come in immediately and you've gone, yeah. I'm not talking about your Bales. I'm not talking about your young players that come in and grow. This is a guy you've gone, go, hit the ground running, and he has. Just quickly, DMB Forever, just chucking in a super sticker at the last minute there. Thank you so much. That is much appreciated.
Did one as well. Daniel Montandon did one, I think.
It's all right, I've got him.
No, you haven't.
Look, funny enough, look. Boom, there it is. So big up to DB Forever. Thank you so much. And Daniel Montandon, as always, the Doncaster Rovers fan. I love Daniel. He's such a good character. I said, good job on the points day. I thought Tottenham edged Arsenal. I thought you were more threatening than Arsenal going forwards, and I thought you looked more convincing defensively than them big up guys. I agree. I thought they didn't look convincing at all at the back. Daniel, you are too kind. Daniel, I'm sure we will see you on our watch-alongs throughout the week. I will be going live tomorrow at 10 a.m. I wasn't going to. I was only going to do Tuesday and Thursday, but I think that after a North London derby, I'd be silly not to. Kate, I know that you and Ellie are joining me Tuesday, so don't worry. I'm not doing tomorrow without you. Well, I am, but you're in on Tuesday, so don't worry about that.
It was better because I've got to take Jim to the hospital tomorrow anyway.
Oh, well, good luck to Jim. Big up. Listen, you will have seen Ben has put this in the chat. Please subscribe to Perchy TV. Come on. Please subscribe to Just the Girl Who Loves Spurs. Subscribe to Has at the Southview Coys. Subscribe to the Coffee Company. Subscribe to Tottenham on Tour. And I would have said subscribe to me, but the one that he left out was my show. So please subscribe to me as well. Big up, Ben. I'm joking. Please do. Please like. Please subscribe. Guys, we are going to end it there, but we've got 289 likes. Can we get 11 more of you to quickly smash that like button before the show ends? Perchy, thank you so much for coming on, mate. Really appreciate you and Has have done a good old shift today.
Yeah, listen, no, thanks for having us. Thanks for having me on, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure. I've really enjoyed it.
Absolute pleasure, yeah.
As always, Has, thank you, mate. And thanks for all your cooking, as always. We've enjoyed it. And Has, I'll see you on Tuesday night for League Cup watch-alongs. I'm looking forward to those days.
Oh, I can't wait. It's going to be good.
Perchy Stelling, I absolutely love it. He takes over my show. He takes over. We're doing the scores, and you'll go, yeah, did you see that? Sorry, guys. I'm getting reports. There's been a goal.
Sorry. Yeah, Elland Road. There's been a goal at Elland Road.
Oh, yeah, he makes up goals as well, doesn't he? Has he makes up goals?
Oh, that's not fair. That was just my app. You know that silly Spanish app.
Yeah. But big up everyone. What I will say is I've got scenes on my TV at the moment. Atletico Madrid have dismantled Real Madrid. It was 3-1, but they were all over them. This is not a great Madrid team. I don't care what anyone says. Much love. See you in the morning, 10 a.m. Take care. Go to bed. Have a nice sleep. Have some Born Vita or whatever. See you later. Take care. Bye.
Leave you out.